guys, and welcome back to another Access 72 video. In today's video I'm back with another interview, and I'm here with Louis Smithson. Louis, how are we?
All good, my friend, all good.
Nice one. And so thank you very much for doing this, mate. Am I right in saying you're a professional boxer who is just turning over now?
Yeah, just turned over about a year and a half ago. So yeah, got my debuts on the 20th of May at York Hall on the TM14 promotion. So absolutely buzzing to get out, mate, and get the career started.
Indeed. We'll speak a bit more about that in a moment. But if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, I'm going to start off with the question which you always like to start off with. Why did you start boxing?
Well, my dad was a professional boxer back in the day. So I just sort of followed in the footsteps. Really, I played football as a kid, but I didn't really like the team sports. I like the individual, and as soon as I went down the gym, I just got hooked on it and never looked back, really.
Yeah, indeed. That's good to hear. And so, do you remember what happened in your first amateur fight?
Yeah, my first amateur fight was in Gravesend in Kent, and I won on a point decision. And literally, it was just the best buzz ever. Like getting in there, it was packed out as well. There was a lot of people there, and obviously nerve-wracking as a kid in front of a lot of people, but yeah, it was a very addictive feeling.
Definitely. And so did you kind of have any kind of maybe boxing inspirations coming up now, or even just right now?
It sort of chops and changes who I sort of like aspire in boxing. You know, I always watch like Floyd Mayweather, Willie Pep, Sugar Ray Leonard, just all the sort of the great fighters. Always watch them and just thought I'd love to do what they do.
Yeah, indeed. And so now you've decided to turn over. I mean, you said you've been turned over for about a year now, and so why have you decided to become a professional boxer now?
I just think the style of it, the way it works, suits me better than the amateur game. Like the amateurs are sort of, I look at it as like the apprenticeship before going on to sort of the main thing. And yeah, just I think the style of it, the pace of it just all suits me a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. And
I'm 27 now, so I don't really want to leave it too much longer. I reckon I've got a good 8 to 10 years in the game, and I think I've turned over at a good time. So.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, you've just seen, I don't know if you watched the fight, but last night, the Zhilin Zhang fight, I mean, he's 39 going on 40 now, and he's just won a world title, and so that's showing that you can do it at whatever age, really.
Yeah. Like I say, it's if you look after your body, if you look after yourself, you can. There's a lot of longevity in the sport, but it depends how you fight. It depends, how often you're fighting and stuff like that. So, but it can be done. You can, like I say, you can go until 35 to 39 sort of thing is when people are sort of retiring now. But it's just down to people looking after their body, their diet, the way they're fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. And so, I mean, you spoke about how you're going to be coming in and working with TM14 promotions, and so how excited are you to start their journey with them?
Yeah, it's like that. I've watched them. I've been to a couple of their shows before at York Hall, and they put on a great show. The atmosphere is unbelievable, especially in York Hall. It's like I've said before, it's the ideal place for me to make my debut. It's like the home of British boxing, so to speak. So for the smaller hall shows, every professional sort of aspires to fight at York Hall. So making my debut there is a dream come true for me.
Yeah, indeed. And so, of course, May 20th is the fight date. And so how's preparations overall been going for? I mean, you've had quite a while now to get used to preparations.
Yeah, training's going great. I always stay in the gym anyway, so I'm always sort of ring fit, so to speak. But yeah, and I've still got another 5 weeks to get in the best possible condition I can. It's going to be 4 frees, but even though it's just 4 frees, it's still, when you've got all the pressure of everyone there, and it is tough to do. So I just want to get in the best shape possible, and I feel with my team, strength and conditioning, boxing, etc., I'll be more than ready for that.
Indeed. And so, I mean, we spoke about, I suppose, the physical side of things now. Kind of speak about the mental side of things. What's your motivation going into professional boxing?
just making sure that I can achieve what I feel that I can achieve. I don't want to sort of cut corners, leave no stone unturned. And in this game, you have to believe that you can go to the very top. Like, there's
Yeah.
no point. Yeah, but especially professional boxing, amateur boxing. Yeah, like it's a learning curve. But professional boxing is, it's a
Yeah.
tough sport. So unless you're aspiring to be at the top, I wouldn't suggest doing it, to be
Mm.
honest. But like I said, my motivation is being the best I can be, and proving to my team and to my supporters that the time they're putting into me is worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely. And just to kind of speak about your supporters, now you're going into professional boxing, there's a lot more of that kind of political side of things, making it so you have to sell tickets to be able to fight and things like that. And so, how important is your fan base now more than ever?
Yeah, well, without them, it's sort of no point doing it, and most people wouldn't fight in an empty hall.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, without them, without them, it's not possible, and it's not worth it. It is worth Like, it is worth it because like you love doing it. I love
Mm.
boxing, but it just makes it that much better having
Yeah.
people behind you supporting you, coming to watch you, and yeah, it's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Indeed, and so just for anybody who's coming to watch your fight and might not have watched you from the amateurs, what would you say makes yourself interesting as a fighter?
I feel like I can sort of adapt my style to who I'm fighting. I think I'm quite aware of the surroundings as well. So I try to put on a bit of a show, give the fans sort of what they want.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't want to take damage and stuff,
Mm.
but yeah, I'm all about making sure it's an exciting fight. But I'd say I'm more of like a sort of a slick boxer as well. So there's some of that in there that people can see, sort of like the hit and not get hit, sweet science, and yeah, I just feel like I can switch my style up to suit.
Okay, good to hear. And so would you say that you're kind of, not to, I suppose, to keep bigging yourself up, would you say that you've got quite a high boxing IQ?
I believe so. I believe I've never really taken a lot of damage throughout the whole thing, even in spars and stuff like that. And that's what it's about. Just like I said, for longevity, you don't want to be
Yeah.
taking too much punishment
Mm.
and absolutely mullering yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say my IQ is pretty high for not taking damage and seeing shots, etc.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you see certain people in spars that they're just going ham for no reason. Spars
Mm,
meant to be something that you're learning from, but just to be going and
yeah.
just properly welling each other, especially if you're doing it without like head guards or anything like that, is a bit stupid.
Mm. Yeah, well, yeah, some people do see that. They see that as the way. You've got to have an absolute tear up in the gym
Yeah.
to be ready for a tear up in for real. But my coaches, Charles Oliver and Joe, they're very aware, very technical,
Mm.
and they make sure it's all beneficial. It's not just a tear up for 4, 6, 8 rounds. You're learning, you're doing the right things, you're doing what you work on. They make sure of that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Good to hear, good to hear. And so, I mean, you're right at the start of your career now, just going into the professional side. And so, how far do you believe you can go?
Look, well, like I said, you have to in this sport. You have to believe you can go to the top, and in the super bantamweight division, which is what I'm fighting in,
Okay.
I don't think it takes too many fights to sort of get looking at titles and stuff
Mm.
like that. So I'd like to go the route of like Southern Area, English, British, European
Yeah.
worlds, and I believe in the super bantamweight division that can all come between sort of like 15 and 20
Mm.
fights. So, and I'm aiming to have sort of like 4 or 5 fights a year. So in the next few years, I'm looking definitely at titles and definitely progression to the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like that. The thought of kind of going down the domestic route, especially when you're already starting fighting at a place like York Hall, them kind of southern area fights are gonna be coming quick, and it'll be easier to get if you're fighting at somewhere like York Hall, and there'll be the fights that'll be made.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're fighting on promotions like
Mm.
TM14, which have a lot of eyes on them,
Yeah.
especially in the sort of smaller hall shows, is if you get 5, 6 good wins, you're looking at these English titles, British titles, and stuff like that pretty quick, so to
Yeah.
speak. So, but I'm ready for it now. I'm ready for whatever comes. I'll be ready, and that's it really.
Yeah, definitely. And I suppose, even though, of course, you're probably going to have a good few fights that you have journeyman fights, are you always wanting to go in there against these tough opposition?
Yeah, like I say, you turn over, you start with these journeymen, but I don't want too many journeymen. I
Mm.
want, especially for the fans as well, I want 50-50, well, so to speak, fifty
Yeah.
fifty fights. I want, I'll never see them as 50-50 because I believe that I'll always win, but
Mm.
I want the best fights possible, not just for the supporters to watch a good fight, but I want to be proving myself and proving that I belong mixing it with the best and mixing it at the top level.
That's good to hear. That's always an important factor. And so, yeah, I'll leave with this final question, which I always like to ask you. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
Just yeah, like I said, my coaches, Charles Oliver, Joe down the gym. He's been great as of recent. Charles is also my manager, and yeah, just while I've turned over, I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. Camberley Boxing Club, where I box out of. Charles opened me with open arms, and always be grateful for them two men. In boxing, I've said before, in boxing, it can be a tough, rough
Mm.
sort of political game, like you said. Um, but you do meet some good people in it, and two men that I'm happy I've met in boxing.
Mm.
And they're just sort of the main people in my journey so far. So, and I hope and stuff like that, I want to stay with them through it all.
Mm.
And any titles we pick up, hang them in that gym, and yeah, show that stick with your team, stick loyal to your team, and it all works out.
Indeed, it does. Well, great. Well, thank you very much, mate. Maybe a little bit further along down the line, we can come back and do another interview, mate.
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate it for having me on.
Nice one. Well, if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like the video, and thanks for watching.